flipping through the newspapers, switching through multiple news channels, exploring different websites and online mediums for relevant news? Keeping up to date with important news is not only time-consuming but also requires meticulous upkeep of notes for thorough revision. With a limited period in hand and abundant resources to study from, do not let current affairs come in the way of your prelims success. Join the PT 365 program by Vision IAS and advance in your preparation for current affairs. Starting on 9th January at 5 p.m., this 20-day course offers comprehensive coverage of 1 year of current affairs in 60 hours. Join for improved knowledge with complete coverage of The Hindu, Indian Express, PIB, Economic Times, Yojana, Economic Survey, etc. Doubt-clearing sessions and mentoring for thorough knowledge. Access to Sandhan personalized test with 25,000 plus questions. Access to live and online classes for flexibility in timing. It's time to devote your energy to smart learning and not running. Enroll today and excel in UPSC prelims with a strong command of current affairs.
Hello and welcome to this edition of News Today. Without delay, let's have a look at the headlines first. Income Tax Bill 2025 tabled in Parliament. PM of India concludes an official working visit to the US. President of India issued proclamation imposing President's rule in Manipur. Report on status of devolution to Panchayats released by Union government. Union Defence Minister underlines the dangers of hybrid warfare to India. UN Commission for Social Development emphasizes on strengthening social cohesion. A landmark moment in India's taxation system. The Income Tax Bill 2025 has been tabled in Parliament. The bill proposes to repeal and replace the 60-year-old Income Tax Act or IT Act 1961 along with simplification of its language and structure aiming to enhance the ease of doing business. Now, why was there a need for this bill? Well, over the years, the IT Act of 1961 has undergone numerous amendments which have impacted its original structure. Additionally, the complicated language of the Act has led to higher compliance costs for taxpayers and posed challenges for direct tax authorities. So, what does this new bill bring to the table? Let's take a look at the key highlights. First, it significantly reduces the volume of the Act, removing 283 sections and 24 chapters to make it more concise. Next, there's a major language simplification. For instance, the term tax year will now replace financial year and assessment year, making it easier to understand. The bill also introduces a detailed framework that clearly defines taxable income, compliance rules, and restrictions on commercial activities. And with the rise of digital assets, the bill formally defines virtual digital assets and lays out clear provisions on their taxation. Importantly, there will be no changes to existing tax slabs or rebate structures, ensuring continuity while enhancing usability. Further, to simplify the Act, outdated provisions like the fringe benefit tax have been removed. And that's not all. The bill also incorporates easy-to-read tables, a taxpayer's charter outlining rights and responsibilities, and provisions for alternate dispute resolutions. With these changes, the Income Tax Bill 2025 aims to enhance the ease of doing business while making taxation more transparent and taxpayer-friendly.
Moving on, the Prime Minister of India concluded an official working visit to the United States. The visit reaffirmed the strength of the India-US comprehensive global strategic partnership anchored in mutual trust, shared interests, goodwill, and strong engagement between their citizens. As part of this commitment, both sides announced a US-India Compact or Catalyzing Opportunities for Military Partnership, Accelerated Commerce and Technology for the 21st Century, which aims to drive transformative changes across key pillars of cooperation. Now, moving to the key outcomes of the visit. Let's begin with defense. Both nations announced plans to sign a new 10-year framework for the US-India Major Defense Partnership in the 21st century. Additionally, the Autonomous Systems Industry Alliance or ASIA was introduced to scale industry partnerships and production in the Indo-Pacific region. Shifting our focus to trade and investment, the two science launched Mission 500, setting an ambitious goal to more than double bilateral trade to $500 billion by 2030. Furthermore, discussions are underway for a bilateral trade agreement or BTA to negotiate the first tranche of a mutually beneficial multi-sector BTA by fall of 2025. Turning to energy security, the US affirmed its strong support for India's full membership in the International Energy Agency. Additionally, both nations committed to fully realizing the US-India 123 Civil Nuclear Agreement, which facilitates peaceful nuclear energy cooperation under Section 123 of the US Atomic Energy Act 1954. On the front of technology and innovation, a new initiative named US-India Trust, or Transforming the Relationship Utilizing Strategic Technology, was announced to enhance collaboration between governments, academia, and the private sector in critical and emerging technologies. Another initiative, Indus Innovation, will serve as an innovation bridge to advance industry and academic partnerships and foster investments in space, energy, and other emerging technologies. Lastly, in the domain of multilateral cooperation, the US government approved the extradition of Tahavvur Rana, an individual linked to the 26/11 terror attacks to India. In addition, both countries introduced the Indian Ocean Strategic Venture, a new bilateral whole-of-government forum to advance coordinated investments in economic connectivity and commerce. With these significant developments, the India-US partnership continues to evolve, bringing new opportunities for cooperation across multiple domains.
Moving ahead, a significant political development has taken place in Manipur, where the President of India has issued a proclamation imposing President's rule in the state. This marks the 11th instance of such imposition in Manipur, with the last one occurring in 2001-2. As a result, the State Assembly has been placed under suspended animation. So, what is the President's rule? Under Article 356 of the Constitution, the President can impose it if based on the State Governor's report. It is determined that the state government cannot function in accordance with the constitutional provisions. Now, let's talk about its duration and approval. As per Article 356, Clause 3, President's rule ceases to operate after 2 months unless both houses of Parliament approve it by a simple majority. If approved, it can be extended for 6 months at a time, with a maximum extension of up to 3 years, subject to parliamentary approval every 6 months. Can President's rule be revoked? Yes, the President can revoke it by issuing a subsequent proclamation. Now, let's look at its consequences. When President's rule is imposed, the President takes over the functions of the state government and the powers of the governor. Additionally, the powers of the state legislature are transferred to the Parliament. However, it is important to note that the functioning of the High Court remains unaffected. A crucial legal perspective on this was provided in the landmark case of S.R. Bommai versus Union of India in 1994. The Supreme Court ruled that proclamations under Article 356 are subject to judicial review. Additionally, the President cannot dissolve a state legislative assembly immediately. Dissolution can only occur after Parliament approves the proclamation. Until then, the Assembly remains in a state of suspension. With this latest development, all eyes are on the next steps regarding Manipur's political future.
Moving ahead, we focus on the newly released report by the Union Government titled Status of Devolution to Panchayats in States, an indicative evidence-based ranking. This report provides an in-depth analysis of how well panchayats are equipped to fulfill their constitutional roles under the 73rd Constitutional Amendment. Now, let's take a closer look at the key highlights of the report. One of the key takeaways from the report is the Panchayat Devolution Index, which ranks states and union territories across 6 dimensions of devolution: framework, functions, finances, functionaries, capacity enhancement, and accountability. The findings indicate that devolution has seen an increase from 39.9% in 2013-14 to 43.9% in 2021-22. Among the top-ranking states in devolution are Karnataka, Kerala, and Tamil Nadu. A significant area of progress is capacity enhancement, which has risen from 44% to 54.6% due to initiatives like the Rashtriya Gram Swaraj Abhiyan or RGSA. However, despite these advancements, several challenges remain in ensuring effective devolution. One major concern is election management. State election commissions or SECs often need to consult with state governments regarding election dates, leading to possible delays or political manipulation. Another issue lies with district planning committees, which, though mandated under Article 243 ZD, have been established in most states but have not been fully utilized for grassroots planning. Additionally, the non-centrality of Panchayats remains a challenge, as parallel bodies or entities whose functional domains overlap with those of the Panchayats continue to operate in areas designated for Panchayats under the 11th schedule, undermining their constitutional role. To address these issues, the report puts forth key recommendations. It calls for complete autonomy for state election commissions or SECs, granting them full authority over election-related matters, including fixing dates, delimitation, and seat reservation without interference from state governments. Another crucial recommendation is the autonomy of panchayats, advocating for structured district planning and better coordination with state and national policies to strengthen their local governance role. Moreover, it suggests that all funds from the union and state governments for 11 scheduled subjects should be directed exclusively to panchayats, not parallel bodies. With these insights, the report highlights both the progress and the challenges in the devolution process, emphasizing the need for stronger measures to empower panchayats as key institutions of local governance.
In the next news, we focus on a crucial security challenge outlined by the Union Defence Minister: hybrid warfare. This modern form of warfare poses significant threats to India, combining various conventional and unconventional tactics. So, what exactly is hybrid warfare? It is a strategy that integrates military operations with cyber warfare, disinformation campaigns, and economic pressure. A prime example of this is China's three warfare strategy, which employs psychological, political, and legal tactics to gain an advantage. But what makes hybrid warfare even more dangerous? Two key characteristics stand out: obscurity and vagueness. It blurs the line between peace and war, making it difficult to identify when a conflict begins. Additionally, it complicates attribution, leaving the target nation unable to accurately detect or assign responsibility for an attack. Why has hybrid warfare emerged as a dominant strategy? First, it offers a strategic advantage, allowing nations to achieve political or economic goals without formally declaring war. This keeps diplomatic negotiations open while exerting pressure. Second, it is cost-effective, requiring fewer logistical and economic resources while avoiding direct accountability. India faces multiple threats from hybrid warfare. Externally, Pakistan's support for proxy forces, terrorist organizations, and drug cartels poses a persistent challenge to national security. Internally, insurgencies such as Naxalism in central India and ethnic conflicts in the northeast further exacerbate security concerns. Additionally, cyber attacks like the one on the Kudankulam nuclear power plant highlight vulnerabilities in critical national infrastructure. So, how can India tackle hybrid warfare? The key lies in integrating hybrid warfare strategies into our national defense approach. This involves leveraging India's strengths and overcoming its natural disadvantages. Moreover, building the resilience of armed personnel is essential to equip them with the skills needed to handle advanced technologies. Several measures have already been taken to address this challenge. The integration of the military under the Chief of Defence Staff or CDS strengthens coordination. Additionally, the Defence Cyber Agency has been operationalized to counter cyber threats. Meanwhile, defense indigenization through initiatives like Make in India is enhancing self-reliance in military technology. Hybrid warfare is a complex and evolving threat, and India is actively working to strengthen its defenses. As the landscape of modern conflict changes, staying vigilant and prepared remains the key to national security.
In our next news, we turn our attention to the ongoing 63rd session of the UN Commission for Social Development, which is focusing on a crucial theme: strengthening solidarity social inclusion and social cohesion as part of advancing the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. Now, what exactly is the UN Commission for Social Development? It is a key body within the UN Economic and Social Council, or ECOSOC, responsible for providing advice to the UN on social development issues. Speaking of social cohesion, what does it mean? Social cohesion represents the invisible bonds that unite a society, ensuring harmony and shared growth among its members. In a socially cohesive society, there are effective processes in place to improve inclusion for individuals in disadvantaged situations. This could be due to factors such as age, sex, disability, race, ethnicity, economic background, migration status, or any other grounds. Moving on to the dimensions of social cohesion, it is a result of the interaction between existing levels of social inclusion, the institutional mechanisms in place for promoting social inclusion, and solidarity and feelings of trust in others and in institutions. The virtuous cycle of social policies and social cohesion begins with good universal public services, which leads to increased social inclusion. As social inclusion strengthens, people develop greater trust in the government. This trust fosters a higher willingness to pay taxes, ultimately resulting in higher revenues for the government. With increased revenue, the government can further invest in public services, reinforcing the cycle and strengthening social cohesion. However, social cohesion faces several challenges. Factors such as polarization, marginalization, poverty, and economic disparity weaken social bonds. Additionally, geopolitical tensions contribute to a sense of uncertainty. To address these challenges, the UN Commission has made key recommendations: promoting decent work opportunities for all, ensuring affordable healthcare, and implementing progressive and effective taxation systems are essential. Furthermore, fostering a reliable data and information environment while actively combating misinformation and disinformation can help build a more inclusive society. In today's Personality in News, we turn our attention to Sarojini Naidu. We observe National Women's Day on February 13th, honoring Sarojini Naidu's legacy in India's independence, women's rights and empowerment. Known as the Nightingale of India or Bharat Kokila, she was a prominent leader and poet in India's freedom struggle. In 1947, she became the first woman to serve as the governor of the United Provinces in independent India. Now, let's take a closer look at her key contributions. She joined the independence movement after the partition of Bengal in 1905 and co-founded the Women's Indian Association in 1917 and was part of the All India Home Rule League in 1919. In 1925, she became the first Indian woman president of the Indian National Congress or INC. She played a crucial role in the civil disobedience and Quit India movements and attended the Second Round Table Conference in 1931 with Mahatma Gandhi in London. Her literary works include The Golden Threshold, The Bird of Time, 1912, and The Broken Wing. Her values of patriotism, justice, leadership, and equality continue to inspire generations.
As we conclude today's main news, let's have a look at some quick updates. The Government of India has initiated a public consultation on the Draft Advocates Amendment Bill 2025 to amend the Advocates Act 1961. The amendments aim to align the legal profession and legal education with global best practices. The Security and Exchange Board of India, SEBI, proposed new measures to strengthen the regulatory framework for ESG rating providers. The ESG framework is a set of standards on how a company operates with regard to the planet and its people. It includes 3 dimensions: environmental, social, and governance. Recently, sovereign green bonds have seen limited investor interest due to lower yields. Sovereign green bonds were announced in the Union Budget 2022-23 to significantly reduce the carbon intensity of the economy. These are debt instruments issued by the Union government to raise money for environmentally friendly green projects. Recently, the XR Creator Hackathon, hosted by Wave Labs and Bharat XR, showcased the next generation of extended reality innovators. About extended reality or XR, extended reality is a broad term encompassing immersive technologies like virtual reality (VR), augmented reality (AR), and mixed reality (MR). Recently, indirect prompt injection or IPI has become an emerging security threat for manipulating AI chatbots. IPI occurs when a large language model accepts input from external sources controlled by an attacker, such as websites or files. LLMs are machine learning models that can comprehend and generate human language text by analyzing massive data sets. The European Space Agency's Euclid Space Telescope has recently discovered an Einstein ring named NGC 6505. An Einstein ring is a ring of light first discovered in 1987 that forms around a dark matter structure, a galaxy, or a cluster of galaxies. It is an example of strong gravitational lensing. Recently, the Ugandan government and the WHO confirmed an outbreak of Sudan virus disease. Sudan virus disease, or SVD, is a viral hemorrhagic fever that belongs to the same family as Ebola virus disease. It was first identified in southern Sudan in June 1976. Recently, the Indian Prime Minister gifted Dokra art pieces to the French president. Dokra artwork can be traced back to Dokra Damar tribes, who are traditional metalsmiths of central India, particularly in the regions of Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, West Bengal, and Odisha. Before we sign off, let's challenge your understanding in today's installment of Test Your Learning. Thank you for joining us. We hope you found this episode of News Today engaging. For the solutions to the quiz and to access the PDF version of News Today, remember to visit the provided links in the description below.